And welcome to Borough Briggs Beat. Tonight we've got Isla Benzie, who's the vice chairperson of Elgin City, and Deshaun Golding, striker and Allen's Army sponsored player this season. More on that to come. Welcome Isla, welcome Deshaun.
Hi Chris.
How you doing? You enjoying this summer sunshine weather? It's finally arrived, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
It's still freezing for Deshaun.
Still a bit cold, but it will do.
You live in Lossiemouth. I mean, you've got 2 beaches on your doorstep, and you should be lapping it up.
Yeah, to be fair, I've done a few walks on the beach.
Have you? Good stuff.
Yeah, it's not really warm enough yet.
This is tropical here.
This
is lovely.
This is tropical, aye.
Oh
yeah.
Lord.
Careful if you're out in the East Beach, there's a dead whale.
Oh yeah, I walked past that.
Have you walked past the whale?
Past that, yeah.
So,
Mad, I've not even seen a whale before, let alone a dead one. So.
Well, yeah, exactly. Anyway, we digress into whales. This is not about whales. This is the 3rd episode of the official podcast of Elgin City. And tonight we're going to dip into a few different things. We've got Isla here, who's the vice chairperson. That's right, Isla?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And Deshaun, who's striker and is sponsored by Allen's Army, but more of that later. I'm going to go straight into East Fife on Saturday. First league game of the season. What a fantastic performance and result, Deshaun. I know you were frustrated yourself, you didn't score, but I mean, team performance on Saturday was fantastic.
Yeah, I think the overall performance was a good performance. I think a lot of us in the dressing room have got high expectations of what we want to try and achieve this year. Wasn't really happy with conceding 2 goals, especially when we were so comfortable coming out of the second half. We started off well. And I think the game plan we followed to a T. But yeah, it's just frustrating scoring them goals, conceding them goals. We know we're going to score goals, but we want to get them clean sheets, because when you get them clean sheets, that's a sign of a team that will go on to do big things.
I heard the stat after the game, Myla, that it had been something like over 70 games since Elgin scored more than 2 goals in a game. Is that right?
Over 73. 73
wild.
Games since
that's
2 goals
wild,
in a game.
You know?
And we went to 4 on Saturday. So, you know, it was a good start. I think the phrase is squeaky bum when it went 3-2. It wasn't a nice place to be sitting in the stand for a wee while. But, you know, Sarge came back with that goal just to get that reaction from the crowd. And the crowd were immense on Saturday as well, really getting behind the team, which I'm sure makes a difference, doesn't it?
100%. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, Alan he promised attacking football, and he certainly got that from day one. I mean, you said about the high standards. Is that driven by the manager, Deshaun?
Yeah, driven by the manager, but I think it's most important. It comes from us on the pitch. Alan's kind of instilled these rules and these morals amongst the team, which is who we are. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's only so much Alan can do, but it comes from people who are playing on the pitch at that moment in time. And we all set each other high standards. If someone's not doing something right, we'll let them know, but let them know in the right way, because we're a close bunch of boys. But what happens on the pitch happens on the pitch. And we get into the dressing room, and once the football's over, it's over. But yeah, especially with what we're trying to do this season, we just want to just give our all. So
yeah, and the fans really, I mean, they've really got behind it. And then Saturday, the reaction to the way you were playing and the style of football was fantastic. Yeah,
it was great attacking play, especially after the last couple of games we've had that run in the cup, where it was just a bit frustrating because we're playing some top level opposition, and it feels like we didn't allow everyone to see that side of us. Then we went into the Peterhead game, went 2-1 up, and then conceded them goals. But obviously that's coming off the back of we played we didn't have rest. So a lot of them teams, they had a week rest before they played us, or a game's rest, but we just played straight. So yeah, it's good to start the season right, and hopefully more to come from that.
And Isla, you've been a fan for years, so I mean, how much were you enjoying the style of football that you saw on Saturday?
Hugely entertaining to watch on Saturday, apart from that little period where it was 3-2, but I think my heart's just about recovered from that now. But it's such a pleasure to watch the team and the way they're playing just now. I mean, I'm not an Aberdeen or a St Johnstone fan, but I watched that game last night and I was like, our game was better. On Saturday, it was a better game to watch. You know, for the neutral out there, to watch that on Saturday, there was some fantastic football being played.
Yeah.
And I think you said yourself, Chris, before the game, you know, we were all thinking Dick Campbell, East Fife, they're tipped highly for the league. It's going to be a tough league this year, there's no doubt about it. But I think Alan outcoached Dick on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fantastic performance and so entertaining to watch and makes everyone's weekend much better.
Yeah.
Much better.
Dick, if you're listening, that was Isla that said Alan outcoached you. Okay, Isla Benzie, vice chairperson of Elgin City. No, I'm sure Dick
I did give him a drink on Saturday. Done the pain.
Dick's a good lad, he's a great character. But I mean, these five, I mean, they are one of the pre-season favourites to be going for this title, and a big experienced team, but you know, they just didn't seem to be able to handle Elgin's attacking intentions on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done a lot of homework on them leading up to the game. We always do quite a lot of analysis on teams before we play them. But I think, just more importantly, we just focus on what we do. And as a team, we just try not to worry about the other team, because obviously if we're looking at the previous couple of years that we've had at the club, it's not been great. So every team thinks that they're playing Elgin, it's going to be an easy ride. But we're not in that mind frame at all, where we're thinking we're going to be losing games. Like every game I go into, I know, especially myself, I know I'm going to win. So it's never really been a question of whether we're going to lose or not. It's more if we're going to score as many as we want. So.
Aye.
I think as well the fact that we've got some real depth in the squad now as well. So Alan's able to change shape depending on who we're playing, and you're all fighting for your place in the squad now as well, which is a healthy thing. So
yeah,
100%.
he's got real
well.
options on the bench, because I mean, Sarge came off and scored the decisive fourth goal, so I mean, he'll be pushing to get a start as well. So there's real depth to the squad, as you say.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll come on to the summer signings a wee bit later on. Obviously, been 8 of them, which is probably unprecedented in recent years in Elgin Isla.
Yeah, it's been a big change, and it probably needed to happen, that we needed to have that real strengthening window, and the players that we've taken in have been fantastic, and you can see that already from Saturday, and even from the cup games. I know we had some stiff opposition in the cup, but you could see the quality coming through. And while Jack was man of the match on Saturday, and well deserved man of the match, and he got the social media man of the match as well yesterday, it actually was really difficult to start with to pick the man of the match, because there were so many players pulling out there on Saturday. It was a real squad performance. It was fantastic.
You got SBFL Team of the Week as well.
He did, yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he got that today.
Great start.
Great start.
Aye. And you said you're a tight group and you push each other on. How? I mean, you've been involved in football for a number of years. How good has this squad gelled together, and how good do you get on together compared to other teams you've been in?
Can only compare it to when I won at Worthing, Ishmael Prem, which was step 3, going into National League South. Everyone comes from obviously different walks of life. We've got boys from Aberdeen, we've got boys from I don't even know how to say where they're from.
Please try.
No, I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to bother. We've got obviously Dill, he's from Dublin, but we've got a large variety of boys. But we all just come together for a cumulative goal. And we got characters in our dressing room. I think that's the best thing about it. Like we come in training Tuesday and Thursday. It's a laugh. We enjoy it. We look forward to playing with each other and being with the gaffer and Steph and G, everyone. So it's just creating that environment where we can grow and we can thrive and we enjoy it. Because if you're enjoying your football, you're going to be playing your best football, and you're willing to fight for your teammate. So
yeah, playing with a smile on your face. I mean, it's
even though I don't play with a smile on my face that much. I'm normally moaning at the referee. But
you did miss 1 or 2 chances on Saturday, and you weren't too happy with that. But we can gloss over them.
Oh no. I was fuming, to be fair. Got into the dressing room. Obviously, you want to score goals. That's why I'm here. I think a lot of that's been an issue, me scoring goals, and I want to change that. Last season was a bit difficult. I only scored 2, but I played the majority of the season with basically no hamstring, because I done my hamstring against Spartans, and that was like 4 games in. Yeah. So my schedule would be like I would play on Saturday, rest Sunday, rest Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wouldn't train at Cove at all. Just do my physio, and then train on Friday with Cove, and then play a game on Saturday, because my body just couldn't. Like my hamstring was just finished time and after again. So I was going to rest it, but we needed to.
You're having to wrap yourself in cotton wool after each game, basically.
Yeah, still had chances to score, but yeah, it was frustrating last season for me, especially with what what happened. So hopefully this season I can get some goals and do something right.
I suppose at Elgin you did come into a team that was struggling and really in big trouble on the pitch at the time. So it's a different dynamic, isn't it? This season you're a team that's looking to go on the front foot right from the off.
I thought it was always there, because even towards like, what was it? Maybe it might have been like Feb, March. Like we were trying to push for a playoff spot, and that's when kind of the injury happened. It was like, oh, nightmare, and I was having to miss. I think I missed 1 or 2 games, and we missed out on it. But the moment I've walked into the dressing room, I've only felt one way, where we're looking to play on the front foot and we want to get as high up at the table as we can, because ultimately Steph and Alan are winners, and that's what they want to do. So I felt that from the start when I walked into the club. Whether that's transgressed from like last season where we were actually able to achieve it, sadly we didn't. But definitely with the recruitment now that we've got, definitely I feel like we can try and push on for that.
Okay. And we'll maybe come to it later, Isla, because you had to steer the club through a kind of a difficult period, or maybe we can talk about it now. I mean, you steered the club through a really difficult period, off the pitch and on the pitch. You lost Graham Tatters, had to step aside after family circumstances, and there was a lot going on, and you stepped up to be the kind of figurehead. How difficult was that on a kind of personal and a club level during that period? It's
really difficult because you feel a lot of responsibility towards not just the club but the community as a whole. Elgin's such a big part of the community, and one thing when you're on the board at a club like Elgin is you're very aware that you are just a custodian. You're just looking after it for the next generation, and I think also when it's a club the size of Elgin, you probably need to live in the town or close to the town, because you need to be able to go in every day. I obviously don't. So it was a lot, and I'm glad I did it. I wouldn't have not wanted to do it, but I was very honest and upfront with the board straight away to say it's not something I can take on long term, just purely because my job and stuff as well. I work away quite a lot. But it was tough. I'm glad we survived it. We got there. We had a difficult time management wise as well. But on the plus side of that, as soon as we interviewed Alan, as soon as we had the vacancy and Alan applied for it, we interviewed 3 managers at that time. And Alan came in and straight away blew me away. I was super
he
impressed.
Head and shoulders, I mean, above?
For me, yeah, I was super impressed with him when he came in. The research, and like you've talked about, Dave, when he's lots of research in the teams he's playing, the research he'd put into Elgin and the squad we had already, he knew everything. He knew what our ambition was. Obviously this is going to be our 25th season in League 2. It's not where we want to be. We are ambitious. We want to move the club forward. And straight away you could pick that up from Alan, that's what he wanted as well. He had ambition. And he was the right fit for moving the club forward. And this summer's probably shown that as well. He's demanding as well. I'm sure Alan Murray told you that.
Yeah.
But in the right way. We do things in the right way. We'll never do anything to jeopardise the club. But it feels like we're moving in the right direction, and hopefully that'll continue on the pitch as well as off. Because if we don't have the product on the pitch, it's very difficult to sell everything else off the pitch.
Yeah.
And we need both of them working together to make the club a success.
Was there a feeling at the time among some that it was, because Alan and Steph were in the Highland League and previously been in juniors, that it was a gamble at that time to appoint them?
It was a bit, to be honest. And if when the applicants come in for the job, it's always a struggle for us in Elgin as well because of geography. And when the applications came in, I suppose initially you're thinking Highland League to League 2, and because a lot of people in the Highland League think it's not a big jump. I personally think it is. When you start playing in the league, you'll see that there is a difference. But as I say again, as soon as we actually spoke to him, so seeing it on paper, you maybe thought it was a gamble, but as soon as we sat down and spoke with him, I didn't think it was a gamble at all. Thought it was the right fit.
Yeah, I've heard his PowerPoint presentation is stuff of legend.
Yeah,
I've never seen it yet. I do want to see it now.
Can sell you it, Chris. For a fee.
And I mean, obviously it's history. They turn things around pretty instantly.
Yeah.
And Steph said to me recently that it wasn't a case for them of just surviving. They wanted to put their philosophy in right away. No point just trying to, shut up shop. Just put it in, and it worked. And they stayed up. And as you said, at one point, the crazy nature of League Two and a 10-team league, at one point you were only 7 or 8 points off the playoffs.
Exactly. And that's what I really loved about it as well, is like you're saying, Dave, as well, that whole mindset of we're looking at making the playoffs, but making the playoffs for promotion, not staying out of the playoffs for the drop. Straight away, it wasn't even talking that way. It was always talking about, not about survival, but about promotion.
I did see a couple of weeks ago, a lot of the bookies had pegged Elgin at sort of third favourites to finish bottom again this season, but they're obviously basing that on last season's, results and position. But do you feel at the moment the team is kind of under the radar, or have you kind of announced yourself now with that win over East Fife?
I think that's already changed after Saturday. I know somebody that got 16-1 for us to win the league on Friday night, and I checked on Saturday night. Obviously, I can't bet, but I checked on Saturday night, and that was gone. So that's changed already.
For me personally, I don't really care. Doesn't really make no difference to me what anyone says. Like, we've got what we're doing in the dressing room. That's one game. Like, it's not the be and end all. It's a good start, but there's 37 other games that we need to go and do what we need to do. And I know when we're in our team talks, Alan does like to mention what other people think about us and the club and that, but no, I don't really make no difference to me or the team. I don't feel like we really care. We're actually like we're above it now, so we just focus on what we can do week in, week out, and that's the most important thing for us.
There's a sort of single-mindedness to you, but as a collective.
Well, yeah, well, for myself personally, I've come all the way from London, where I live a good life in London. I've not come up here to just mess about and have some fun in Lossiemouth. Like, I'm 26.
You can still have fun in Lossiemouth. Lossiemouth's a nice place.
There's only so many times I can walk up and down that beach without looking like a donut. But no, back to what I was saying. Yes, we're getting our jobs done, and we just take each game as it comes.
Excellent, brilliant. Just briefly, when you mentioned Lossiemouth, just to lighten it a wee bit, I mean, you are living in Lossiemouth, and yourself and Dylan, your flatmates or housemate, how's that going?
Yeah, it's nice, it's good. Nice area, beautiful area. Nice flat. We train on Mondays on our own. Then we go to the gym. Tuesdays we train with the team, but we do some bits in the morning. Wednesday, day off. Thursday we train, same bits in the morning. Friday we'll do some light bits in the morning at the AstroTurf. But yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, just finally somewhere where I'm actually can get my head down and play some football.
Aye. Yeah, you feel like you've settled very quickly here.
Yeah. Especially while I was playing there last season. So yeah.
How are you finding the Typhoons and the Poseidons?
Where?
Planes.
The planes.
Oh yeah.
Are you getting much sleep?
Mate, I swear. I think when I first got it, I think I hid under the table. I was like, what's that flow past the window? I was like, what?
Aye.
Yeah, they're loud.
They take a bit of getting used to, but they're good. They're good fun as well to watch. You get free air display every day.
Yeah, I know. I've got binoculars in the house, and I go out the window and I look at them. Yeah, it's mad. It's sick.
Aye.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's great. Excellent. Good stuff. Isla, we talked there about you steering the club through that difficult period, and you brought Alan and Steph in. I mean, could that, do you think, turn out to be arguably your biggest signing, is getting the management team on board? And no disrespect to the 8 summer signings, but I mean, could they be, the biggest signing if things keep going the way they are?
I think what we've seen so far, they've definitely been a massive signing for the club, and it's definitely going in the right direction. History will tell, and hopefully they are. And also, we're talking a lot about the 8 summer signings. Obviously, Alan and Steph are the ones that have gone out and found who they were wanting to come in. So, they're a huge part of that as well. So, yeah, I would say they're a massive signing for the club.
Excellent.
And I think the fans, you can see from the engagement we've got already that they agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Dejan, I was going to turn to you and Mark Gallagher. You were teammates at Cove. You were loan signings together at Elgin, and you're now back both on a permanent basis. I mean, and you mentioned there London. I mean, you had a 10-hour drive when the deal got done to get up the road and play in a friendly, got a hat-trick. So what was the motivating factor in you coming back up the road? I mean, did you anticipate at that point that you were going to be staying down in London?
When I first got back home, in my brutal honest opinion, I didn't even want to play football anymore.
Did you not?
No, couldn't be bothered, man. The way I got treated last year at the club I was at before, just made me put things into perspective. Like, I've got a business down south, got my house down south, my family down south, and I just thought to myself, I don't really want to put myself through that mental situation that I was in again. So as soon as I got home, I didn't think about football. I didn't speak to anyone in regards to football. And then went on holiday, and I just thought to myself, while I was on holiday, I've worked so hard to become a professional footballer and playing in a professional league, and I've actually got the opportunity to actually go somewhere where they actually really appreciate you and want you to play. Because I had offers to go elsewhere, but I couldn't afford to be in that situation I was in again last time, because I don't know if I would be playing football ever again if I go through that again. So yeah, it was
because before you moved to Cove, you were at Cray Wanderers. Was that the team you were before? So how did the move to Scotland come about?
This is a detailed one. So I was around about 22, 23, and I was signed for a team called Worthing. He played currently in the National League South, and we was top of our division for 2 consecutive seasons. But the COVID cancelled out our seasons. So when we went on to the third season, we got promoted, and then from there I went and signed at another National League South club. And then in January, I left the National League South club, and one of my mates, Joel Newble, he was saying for me for years to come to Scotland. Do you enjoy it? Come to Scotland. And I was like, I can still do a bit in London. I do enjoy playing my football in London. I know I could move on and go further. And I was still developing my business at the time, so it was a lot for me to leave. And went to Arbroath on trial and got offered a deal, but I couldn't sign because I played for 2 clubs in one season.
Okay.
So
was Dick Campbell the manager then?
Yeah, Pink and Dick, yeah. That's why when you said to me, I was like, oh. But yeah, really good guys, man. And so I went home and I just thought, let me sign for a local team and play my football and then go there for pre-season. Done that. I managed to make sure my business was self-sufficient while I was away, and then went back up to Arbroath for pre-season. And while I was at Arbroath, went to Livingston. Didn't get anything at them both clubs, so I was thinking, oh dear. Went to Queen of the South. They said, yeah, we'll sort you something out. So I went home to get my belongings, my car. Then on the way up, my agent was like, go to Cove, see what it's like. And then went to Cove, trained on the Friday, played a game against Dundee, signed after 45 minutes. And then, yeah, the rest was history after that.
So you rejected Queen of the South?
I didn't reject Queen of the South.
What's wrong with you,
Chris is a Queen of the South fan.
What's wrong with you,
I wouldn't say rejected them, but they were a bit slow with the deal. They said, yeah, come back and get your stuff and that, and we'll sort something out. But it was never like figures are sorted and that. And I was like, it's a bit strange. I'll still get my stuff anyway.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, when Cove came in, I was like, okay, cool, sweet.
Right. But let's just say it didn't work out at Cove. That's history, and you've put it behind you, and now you found a home.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, whatever happened at Cove happened at Cove. I'd rather just not go into too much details.
The good news is this is as far north as you can go in the professional leagues. We're the furthest north club, so that's it. You can't go any
further.
Yeah,
yeah, literally. So, but.
And you and Gal both here on loan last season. I mean, how important were they as loan signings last season, Isla?
Yeah, massive. And again, I have to say, because I know for you, Dej, it didn't finish well at Cove, but Cove were really good with us and agreeing those loan deals and worked well with us. But it was massive getting you both in and made a huge difference to our performance from the minute you came. So again, delighted that we've managed to get Gal in permanently as well. So to have you both is huge, to get you both back and actually be our players now, not loanees.
Yeah. So you're new signings, but you're not really new signings. You're familiar faces. So
yeah, just come back for a bit more.
Yeah. Aye. And I mean, you and Gal, you got on great together.
Yeah, he's my guy. Yeah, he's my guy, man. Yeah, he's a top guy. Top guy. Yeah. Cool.
And when you realised he was coming back as well, how did that make you feel?
I knew before anyway.
Did you?
I knew before. To be fair, he was probably gonna come start the season, but he wanted to give it another try. And yeah, the situation came up again, so yeah, he's here. So massive signing. Very good player.
Yeah. And we touched on, we'll go into the number of signings. I mean, there's been 8 in total. That's a big overhaul for Elgin City in terms, but do you feel that was needed, Isla?
Yeah, I think it was. We had a really young squad. We needed to get some experience into it. It's also good to get some guys that are more local, that have got a bit of knowledge around our geography and what we're all about. We've got our stalwarts still there, like Soapy and Russell. I mean, Russell, that was his 200th game on Saturday,
Soapy's
which is
over
fantastic.
500 games now,
yeah, Soapy's over 500. But I think you can see already that they're both rejuvenated as well by these new signings coming in, which is really positive to see. The guys that have come in from the Highland League, I mean, Lyle, I know, came in before the end of the season, so he came in the January window as well, but they've really made the step up. Jack was immense on Saturday, as was Ryan Sargent. We've got some real talent within the squad now, and you can see it coming through already.
And I suppose the nature of where Elgin's at, you've still got a couple of central belt boys.
Yeah.
You've got Jake, who's down in Aberfeldy, and you've got Ollie and Kyle, who are in Clydebank and Motherwell. But you still need to cast the net a wee bit beyond Murray or local.
You do, and you always need that. I think we've said historically as well, you always need that bit of grit from some of the kind of West Coast boys as well. They do just give you a bit more grit sometimes, and it's good that we've got the 3 guys that are travelling from South now, instead of, for a while we had a real 50-50 split in the squad, and they couldn't even train together during the week. So I think it's far more balanced now, and you're able to spend more quality time training together during the week as well. So,
and to be fair to the managers previously, that's always going to be difficult to manage, isn't it? It's such a split camp. Yeah,
and also having a more north based manager as well as a positive, as well as Alan's technical ability. The fact that he knows the Highland League as well, so he knew the players that he wanted to, the pools he wanted to go and shop in as well. So that's a positive.
Yeah, and do you think signing Sarge and Jack, who's scored 26 goals in the Highland League as a centre half, that was a statement of intent, because you haven't really seen what you class as the best players in the Highland League coming to Elgin for quite a while.
No, that's right, and credit to them as well, because they've had to make that move. For a lot of the boys that are in the Highland League don't want to come into League 2, because it's a big commitment on a Saturday to go to Stranraer and get home at like midnight, 2 a.m, when you could be playing.
You ready for that trip, Sean?
I've done it already.
I see you have.
It's a lovely trip, isn't it, on the bus?
Yeah, that's all right.
It's a national bus.
I think it's
a
nice.
bad rate, but it's
a nice scenery.
Lovely scenery. Yeah. But it is. It's like you're losing your full day on a Saturday, and a lot of the guys that are in the Highland League, and you can understand why they don't want to give up that. And financially as well, the Highland League plays pretty well. So it's a real statement of intent from the players as well, that they want to better their career and move into the professional leagues. So I think it's a real positive move for them and for us. Yeah,
because you had a loan spell at Banks of D, didn't you? So you've had a taste of the Highland League as well.
Yeah, that was mental. That was mental. I've come all the way from London. I was playing for Banks of D. I couldn't even believe it. But it was good crack though, because I've come from a non-league background. So, like, if anything, I enjoyed my time at Banks of D more than I did at Cove. Just the environment, the family of being involved, of just a group of lads having fun.
Yeah,
going to play on a Saturday with your mates. I do enjoy that sense of it. But yes, it's a good league.
And I suppose you describe it, everybody still describes it as non-league, but given the pyramid system now, it's effectively just an extension of the senior leagues. Same in Scotland, England, there's a pathway, to the very top for a lot of teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously that's what Jack was looking to do last season with Bucky, and it didn't work out for him. So hopefully we can give him some more glory, or he can give us some more glory.
Yeah, but I suppose they're examples of boys that maybe, Dill was at Charlton, Jack's been at Ross County, Mark was at Ross County, Aberdeen. You've been at Cove full time. Take a step back to then go forward.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You got to go somewhere where you're appreciated and you can play your football. And when you've got someone like a manager like Alan, it encourages you to be a part of what we're doing here. So,
And if all you boys do well for Elgin, it's a win-win because Elgin does well.
Yeah.
And if some of you get to move on to, I'll not say, well, bigger things, but maybe not better, but you know what I mean? But I mean, wouldn't it be great to see Elgin in League One and then you have to
Absolutely.
revise targets and you have to think, right,
That would
where
be
are
a
we going
good
now?
problem to have.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's quite a few full-time teams now in League One. I mean, the full-time teams in Scotland are growing all the time. I mean, is that something
And I think that's more of a challenge, to be
Mhm.
honest, for them at times as well. So the likes of, Queen of the South, for example, because when it comes to budgets, we've got guys that have still got, full-time jobs.
Mhm.
So if you're looking after a family, for example, budget-wise, Queen of the South or some of these full-time teams, their budget will be more than ours, but not significantly more. So you've got guys playing full-time football for a similar amount that they're getting part-time with us.
Yeah, 100%.
And not having another job to top up that income.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's a difficult
it
one.
is a difficult
lot of teams
balancing
struggle with
act.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So some teams even do hybrid. So they do.
Yeah.
Some players are part-time, some players are full-time.
Was that set up at Cove? Were they a mix of full-time
yeah,
and
hybrid.
part-time
Yeah,
players?
so the older boys would train on Tuesday and Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
but the other boys would train Monday to Friday. So, yeah, it worked. Interestingly.
Yeah. So you must feel like you're kind of training and playing like a full-time
Well,
football
yeah,
at the moment,
like I said to them, if I'm coming up here, I wanna work on my craft up here. I wanna
Mhm.
train. Otherwise, there's no point me being part-time. I may as well be part-time
Mm-hmm.
back at home.
And you're fortunate you can run your business from
Yeah.
here. Do that.
Your business
So,
is
yeah.
football coaching, isn't it?
Yeah, so we do PE teaching, nursery sports in local schools. So, yeah, been doing that since I was 21. So.
Oh, excellent. And is that in the Lewisham area? I mean, that's where you're born, Lewisham.
Greenwich
Right.
area. So, yeah, Woolwich, Plumstead, Greenwich.
Excellent, good stuff.
Yeah.
Magic. Right. I mentioned earlier Alan's Army, so we'll go right to Alan's Army. I mean, I'll start with you and I'll come to the Alan's Army foot soldier, shall we call him, shortly. But I
Poster boy, is that not what you're looking for, Chris?
well, I don't know. The face of Alan's Army. In terms of, it's supporters. Supporters put their hands in their pocket to pay to get into games and buy season tickets, but this is over and above that.
Yeah.
So how big a deal is that for Elgin City this season?
It's massive. It's and don't let anybody underestimate how massive that is, because like I said right at the very start, everything that we do within the club is to be able to put on the product on the pitch, whether that's through the first team or the women's team or the academy. But the fans actually come in to Alan, so they came to Alan Murray with the proposal that they would like to do something like this to support Alan's playing budget is huge, and it gives everyone the opportunity to have a little piece of input to the team that's on the pitch on a Saturday. So whether it's somebody that can afford to pay an extra £5 a month or £100 a month or just a one-off donation, everything makes a difference. And the fact that our fans are getting behind us like that is massive. And it, to Alan and to us on the board, it means a huge amount.
Yeah.
And obviously it means that we've got Dave sitting next to me here just
Yeah.
now, so which is
And it kind of
great
gives
news.
the fans a bigger buy-in even to
Absolutely.
that connection with the player. I know everybody sponsors strips and things like that anyway, and there's a lot of valued sponsors
Yeah.
of all the players, but this is like an extra level of buy-in, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, and we are really lucky that we're supported really well by local businesses. Like McDonald's and Monroe have been our main sponsor for over 10 years now, and support us hugely. Our other strip sponsors, we've got Elaine at Riverside Kitchens, we've got Fibre One on our shorts, really well supported. But this just gives the individual the chance to get behind the squad as well. And it's not about that big financial commitment if that's not something, because fully aware that we're still within a cost of living crisis and that people's their outcome, their income will be tight. So to be able to just give us a little bit extra, because absolutely everything does help.
And how do you feel, Deshaun, being you are an army of one at the moment, but you're Alan's Army, you're the sponsored player this season. I don't know how many fans it is, but it'll be dozens of them. So how does that make you feel?
It's massive, man. It's it's pretty special, man. Really appreciate it. And going back to what Alice said, just for the fans to get together and make it happen, it's massive. So yeah, hopefully I can just put them performances on the pitch and and do what I need to do. So yeah, it's massive, man.
I mean, you already had developed a pretty quick and instant connection with the fans, but this is going to like cement it even further, isn't it?
Well, yeah, like the fans are the ones that turn out week in, week out, and support us, and that's one of the main things that I noticed when I got here. I had like 800 up to 1,000 fans when I was coming here. I was like, we didn't even get that at Cove. Like it was mad. So like the nature of the fans and just the way they are is pretty special. So for them to come together and do this it's brilliant.
Yeah. And you're right, we're a really well supported club, and you know, it's
like some clubs in League
like
One, League One clubs don't get that.
Yeah.
I think the only ones that really in League One that go over 1,000 when I was there would have been Hamilton, Falkirk. Queen of the South maybe on a good day, like 1.2, 1.3.
Yeah, on a good day.
On a good day. But like we was getting 1,000 plus back end of last season.
If we can keep putting in performances like you put on Saturday, we'll get back to that.
100%.
Yeah. So, you will get four-figure crowds back at
Because what's the population of Elgin? 25k?
Oh no, it's over
50,
in the 30s.
isn't it?
In the 30s, aye.
30k?
Yeah.
That's mad though. Even to get 1,000 people at a game, that's 1 in 30 people.
Yeah.
I mean, you think
That's
like
mad.
the Dingwall's population 11,000. I know the Ross County model's maybe slightly different because they've had a chairman who's in the industry and that to start with. But I mean, the catchment area Ross County's got, and they've achieved top flight, that kind of thing over the years. But.
And I mean, that's the other thing. And I know Alan Murray touched on this when he spoke to you as well, Chris, is that we're not a club that has a sugar daddy, so to speak. We are a club that we are working on everything we can to bring in every piece of income to make it a self-funding club, and we'll do everything within our power to keep it that, so it's sustainable, and it is a community club as well. So again, the fans getting behind helps with everything in that as well.
When I had Alan on, I did touch on the problem at the end of the season, because most sponsors get the strip at the end of the season. So how are you going to carve up, Dijon amongst the fans? I was suggesting that you would have to give the fans
strands of hair.
Well, you've got a good head of hair. You've got plenty of hair.
Big G goes round after every game just now, just taking little bits of what Deja's left lying on the dressing room floor, so you'll get a bit of it.
I'm the worst. I leave everything.
Clothing. I mean, you're a sharp dressed guy, so maybe more than a strip, and cut the strip up, and it's going to be a conundrum at the end of the season.
We'll think of something to do. Definitely, 100%.
Definitely. Good stuff. It's good to see that, though, and I think the fans have really bought into it, haven't they?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Great stuff. Dejon, just while we're talking about there, I mean, we touched on it briefly, a couple of the clubs you've played for. I mean, and I made the joke earlier about having more clubs than Jack Nicklaus, and Dejon said, who? And in his defence, he says he's not a golfer, so I should have said more clubs than Tiger Woods. Would you have got that one?
Yeah, I got that one.
You got that one, right?
100%.
I mean, you started, obviously, Lewisham boy, and you started off, I think, at Dartford, and then you've been to a few clubs, Phoenix Sports, Hastings United, Lewis, Worthing, Tunbridge. So you've had a varied career, and you've travelled, you've certainly put in the miles. There's no question about that.
More recently, putting in the miles. It's been an interesting football life so far in my career. Started off when I was young, going from up and down London academy, signing, getting released, and the competition in London is so high. There's like 9 million people that live in London alone, and it's everybody's dream to be a professional footballer. And I think, especially up here, I think people overlook actually being a professional footballer. Like if someone had the opportunity to be a professional footballer down south, there's boys that are signing deals in League Two, and earning a hell of a lot less money, but they're professional. That's everyone's dream. You wake up every morning, you go and play football. Like I probably earn a lot more money being at home, and it's probably easier for me. But I get to do one of the best jobs in the world, walking out on the pitch on a Saturday and going to play a game of football. So it's always been a thing in my life where I was always close but not close enough, or I would always be distracted, or I would have other things going on in my life where that would take more of priority. I always thought that I was committed or disciplined, but more up until recently, probably after COVID, that's when I really sharpened in on my skills and committed myself to the game. Because like when I went to schools, there was 3 of us, 3 of my best mates, and we would always say that there's 3 levels. So there was me on one end of the spectrum, very wild, and then there was one of my friends called Mark Bola. He plays in Turkish Super League,
Right.
but he was at Middlesbrough before. Kind of in between. Obviously settled down now, married, kids, dog, house. Then there was a Bere Eze, very disciplined, religious man, plays in the Premier League. So there's three like spectrums of where your career could go. Still thankful and a massive achievement that I've become a professional footballer, but maybe if I was more disciplined in my early years, maybe I would have gone further with my career. So
Yeah. But you say everybody finds a path in life, and you say you're living the dream for a lot of people, being a professional,
100%,
level, you know.
100%. A lot of boys, like when they say, I'd rather play Highland League and than play League Two. Like in my head, if you're working for yourself, and then it makes sense because you want to set yourself up for the rest of your life. But if you're a young lad, then it should be your goal to be a professional footballer. If you've just got released out of some of these clubs and you wanna play, because one thing that I've learned in football, things can change so quick. So my first professional contract, after 4 weeks, I was training on my own in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
Things can change so quick.
Aye.
So 1 minute my friend was looking at jobs in Tesco's, now he's playing in the Premier League. Like that's just the way football goes. Like football changes so quickly, like you wouldn't believe it.
And do you feel as you're getting older, you're appreciating that more? You're appreciating what you've got?
100%. If obviously, I'd never have any regrets in my life because I've lived a great life and I've achieved loads of great things. But I would always have just said to myself, if I'm going to do something, do it properly, do it to the best of your ability. Otherwise, don't do it at all, because you're not just wasting your time, you're wasting other people's time who are investing in you. And that's one of the commitments that I made for myself in the the most recent couple of years. It's like, if you can do something, do it properly. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, that's a good mantra to have, isn't it?
100%. 100%.
Isla, neither you or me have been professional footballers, so we're not living that dream. But you've been an Elgin fan. You were born in Elgin, weren't you? You were brought up with Elgin City. So what does Elgin City mean to you?
God, Elgin is in my blood. I used to go and stand on the terrace with my dad when I was a wee girl, and then kind of, I don't know if you'll remember, Chris, back in the Highland League days, you remember Sandy McConaughey's sports shop in Elgin. So that was my first Saturday job. I got a job in there when I was 13, and that's where all the Highland League players used to come for their football boots. But it was a bit like Elgin royalty was in there, because Neil McLean and Neef's wife, Pamela, worked there. June Jack, Cecil's wife, worked there. So it was kind of a bit of an Elgin City family. And then obviously moved away to go to uni, etc. Then was still a season ticket holder. So still always coming back up to Elgin to go to games, etc. And then got involved in the board in, what was this?
2016, I think
2016, that'd be right.
You were
8
the
years.
first female director ever in the club's history, which, I mean, must have been a proud moment.
Yeah, hugely proud of that. And I think I can even see, I mean, at that point, there was obviously a lot of women still coming to the games back in 2016, but you can see that that's growing year on year. More and more women are coming along to the games. We've got our women's team now as well, which hugely proud of, which is fantastic. We've got Ladies' Day, which is legendary. I mean, that was on the go before I was on the board, but
Ladies' Day,
that was an eye opener for Dejan. He's just shaking his head here.
No chance.
Scary head.
Mental.
But yeah, hugely proud to join the board. I probably at the time I joined thought it would be a kind of short term commitment, but I'm all in. It's fully in my blood. All in. 8 years later, still travelling home and away every game. I have zero spare time, but I love it.
And you live in Aberdeenshire, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, so it's a wee bit of a travel, but it's worth it.
But you can take the Quine out of Elgin, but you can't take Elgin out of the Quine.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's not just Elgin; it's New Elgin, Chris.
Are you New Elgin? Are you a Free Stater?
I am. Yes.
All right. Sorry, that's
Did you just say Queen or Quine?
Quine. Do you know what Quine is?
No, what's that?
You're a loon.
What's that?
Dejan's looking puzzled. A quine is a Doric word for a girl, and a loon is a wee quine.
Quine.
So Isla's a quine, and a wee boy's a loon.
Okay, sweet.
So there you go.
I remember that.
That's Aberdeenshire Doric for you. Right, we're rapidly approaching the end of this podcast. I'm just going to briefly ask you both, and I think I know the answer, but I mean, what are your hopes for the season, and how much are you looking forward to, the rest of this season? I'll start with you, Dejan.
Goals for the season, just to remain fit, ready to play. Just take each game as it comes. I know what we have in the dressing room. I know what our goals are. But we'd rather just let our football on the pitch just do the talking instead of me coming on this podcast and saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. Like, even today, I was driving to Barrow Briggs and I was like, damn, I wish it was match day today. Like, I want to play. Like, every game, you just want to play and play and play. So yeah, just remain fit. And yeah, see what happens this season.
Excellent. And for you, Isla, as one of the directors and people working behind the scenes to give the club a positive future, how optimistic do you feel?
So I think on the pitch, it's a 5-year plan we've got, but I do feel really, really optimistic of where we are. Obviously, aiming for at least playoffs would be the goal.
And is this year one of that 5-year plan?
It is, yeah. This is year one of the 5-year plan. But for me, one of the major goals for this season is really to increase the fan engagement. I think we've made good strides in that already. Alan's Army being one of the things. I think what you're doing here, Chris, with the podcast already, and the engagement we're seeing from the things you're doing on match days is fantastic. Michael and the engagement he's getting on our social media for us as well is brilliant.
Fantastic job.
So I just want us to really continue on a growth platform with that, getting more people through the turnstiles, getting more people to see what we do on match days in hospitality, because it's like a fantastic day out. So to encourage more people to come along and support us in that way, and give back to the community as well. So keep that positive atmosphere going that we're feeling around the club, and just really make a difference to the club and the town.
And have a good Scottish Cup run as well.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Big draw in the Scottish Cup would be good.
Yeah, I think that's
I was going to say Rangers at Ibrox, but it won't be at Ibrox. So
I think I think that's one of the main things as players. Like you want to give back to the club, and the instant ones that you can do is having a nice little good cup run.
Yeah.
So
you saw what it did for Bucky Thistle. You know,
Yeah,
Highland champions
absolutely.
last season. Jack played at Celtic Park. You know.
And
So
the
you
buzz
want-
that got in the town as well. You know, not just what it did for the club, what it did for the town in Bucky
you
was
want memories
amazing.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, doke. Right, that brings us to the end, because I'm conscious of the fact Isla's got a board meeting and Dejan's to be at training early to get some photos taken. So I'm going to have to let them away, because I didn't want them getting club fines at any level. So I'll just say thank you to Isla. Thank you to Dejan. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Chris.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back again in 2 weeks, and you've been listening to the Barrow Briggs Beat.